Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Today we're going to be doing a hand review of the Tuesday night RBC hands from February 15th. This is going to be one of the longer videos as I'm really going to try and get through every board and give you some commentary on bidding, opening lead, play, conventions, whatever comes up. So if you played in this game and have a couple of hands that you want to hear my thoughts on, feel free to go ahead and forward to that point in the video. I think we'll just go in order. I do have one hand picked out, which is hand 20. Obviously, you'll have to stick around till the end of the video to get to that one, but we're really going to do a deep dive on a play theme from that one. There was a possibility to execute a squeeze on a certain line of defense, and there was a way that the defense could manage to scramble this. So we'll talk about that when we get there. I played these hands with Bill Wisdom. We came in second, I think. Winners were patron members Vladimir and Tatiana Stemkovsky. They've been on fire. Can't seem to get them lately. It is currently 3:45 in the morning. I'm suffering from my normal, what do you call that when you can't sleep? Vocabulary is not so good at 3:45 in the morning. Lately I've been I've started snoring pretty badly, and kind of worried that I'm just going to die every time I go to sleep from apnea or something, but I still can't think of what it means when you can't sleep. Insomnia, that's the word I'm looking for. So that's what we're doing up at 3:45. Kind of worried about this whole baseball labor problem thing that's going on where the players are locked out. Pretty bummed that it looks like maybe that's going to start to affect the season. In case you were wondering, and I'm sure you were, I'm very pro player on all this stuff, and that's what's going on in my life right now. Bunch of playing cards and fretting about what's ever going to become of baseball. So that's all I got for that. Let's just jump into the boards here. So start off with board one. Thought this one was probably pretty simple. I imagine at most tables it's going to go pass, 2 no trump, all pass. 2 no trump shows 20 to 21 balanced, and balance shapes are either 4-3-3, 4-4-3-2, 5-3-3-2, and I would suggest that you put 6-3-2-2 with a 6-card minor into that family. I would also suggest that you put 5-4-2-2 with a 5-card minor into that 5-card minor and 4 that's not spades. So like if you have clubs and diamonds or clubs and hearts, diamonds and hearts, the thing about having spades is normally you can just open one of your 5-card minor and rebid a spade. That'll be easier. But with a lot of your 5-4s, particularly when we've got the minors, bridge isn't about minor suit particularly match point pairs bridge isn't about the minor suit. So we want to find as many excuses to open no trump as we can. And opening up that balanced requirement for no trump to include some of those 6-3-2-2s and 5-4-2-2s is the right idea in my mind. Anyway, here we've got a completely non-controversial 2 no trump opening. I imagine that South just is going to cash 5 diamonds and exit. And if we look at our little down here, I've got the double dummy makes. Looks like East-West is supposed to take 6 tricks, which means down 2, and 100 to North-South on the deal if everything goes pretty normal. And our minus 100 is worth 45.8%. So I don't think there's anything further to do on this hand. Was able to convert all these deals and throw them into a folder. It's very convenient on the common game site. That's an excellent site, by the way. And let's do hand number 2. I'm going to pass. I would open the South hand, definitely. Again, I like to open with any excuse. I'm not too worried about the vulnerability. I just like to bid anything that moves. I mean, one way of thinking about this, even if you aren't sold on the, well, I guess it requires that you have some faith on the tactical advantages of opening the bidding anytime it's close, which definitely exists. So there's that. But the other thing is, like, realize that with each of your calls, all you're trying to do is paint the most useful picture of your hand for your partner to do whatever the goal of the auction is. And normally the goal of the auction is to get to a game if one exists, and find an 8-card major suit fit if one exists. So our alternatives with the south hand here are opening one club and passing. And it's just, in my mind, opening a club is a better description of this hand. You know, I have clubs and I have an opening bid, and maybe you could quibble with that. Maybe you could say, it's only 11. I do have a 6-card suit though. That just seems like a better description to me than pass, and partner doesn't know whether we have 0 or 10 or 11 or what suit we might have. So I just think either way you want to look at that, the one club opening is a winner. Wes is going to overcall one spade. One level overcalls can be pretty light, like definitely lighter than this. For example, if you took out the king of clubs and probably even the jack of diamonds, I would still overcall in this shape. I'm not too fond of the suit quality, but that's not such a big deal when it's a major and when it's at the 1 level. When we have spades, oftentimes the point of the deal will be to win a part score and get to 2 spades. So there's that. And obviously, anytime the opponents want to outcompete us when we have spades, they're going to have to go a level higher in the bidding. So there's some tactical advantage with spades. But anyway, a 1 level overcall, the range is, at least a 5-card suit. And you want to have, I don't know, 7 to 17 points, something like that. It's pretty wide ranging, and that's one of the reasons why it's an advantage to open the bidding as south, is because you throw east-west into a situation where their bids are less well defined. So as north, you're going to want to make the negative double here. Anytime that our partner is opened and they overcall on our right, a double is used for takeout, and specifically it's called a negative double. It used to be called a Sputnik double for any of you bridge trivia-ites. And what we're going to primarily be focusing on in auctions like this, where our partners open a minor, they've overcalled a major, is the unbid major. So double is takeout. Specifically, it is negative. And the way I would kind of have you think about this, and we've talked before about how negative is sort of misleading in that it directs you to think of the bid as like showing a bad hand somehow, or a minimum hand somehow. That's not the case. Like, you could still have basically the rest of the deck when you double in situations like this. But the primary thing you're talking about is whatever major is unbid. So here you can think of double almost as like a surrogate or invisible 1 heart response to 1 club. And if you think about, like, if West had passed and we'd bid 1 heart, what are we saying about our hand? Well, we're saying we have at least 4 hearts and we have enough to respond, but it's unlimited. And it's kind of the same thing here. We just have a 1 heart bid when we double as north in this auction. We're not limited, except for the fact that if we had both 5 hearts and 10 high card points, if we met both of those requirements, 5 and dime, Woolworths. If you ever hear me talk about Woolworths, this is a Woolworths situation. Woolworths, the 5 and dime, what would you call that? A department store, maybe? Seems like department stores. I'm not even sure if they exist. I guess Target's a department store. I like Target. Anyway, where were we? 2 hearts in this situation would show both 5 hearts and 10 high card points. So when we make the double, we're talking about hearts, but we fail one or both of those tests. So on the extreme, my double could show exactly 4 hearts and a slew of high card points. I could still have 20. I could have the rest of the deck. And the reason I'm doubling first is because this is my opportunity to get the fact that I have hearts on the table. The same way I would if West had passed and I had 20 points in a 4-card heart suit. There would be no rush to do anything other than bid 1 heart because a new suit by responder is forcing. So anyway, I can have a huge hand if I only have 4 hearts, or I could have somewhere between enough to respond and fewer than 10. So we'll call it, I had 5 to 9, 6 to 9 for 7 to 9 something, but I could have more than 4 hearts. So I might be doubling based on a 6-card heart suit and only 7 points, or a 5-card heart suit and 8 points. And it's not, I don't think it's all that useful to worry about setting strict parameters. Well, sometimes you read, okay, the 2 levels, 8 points, and the 3 levels, 10 points. That's all well and good, but I think that gets you thinking about things kind of in the wrong way. I would just think of double as an invisible 1 heart bid, and I have enough to, whether it's based on high card points or shape, I have enough that we're safe at the 2 level. I heard you open the bidding. I've got enough to contribute to our combined assets that we will be safe at the 2 level. Because somewhere, okay? So because double, East should definitely just go ahead and bump it up to 3 spades. If you want to alert this, I don't think it needs an alert, but you could call it blocking or preemptive. The idea, though, is to go ahead and bid an immediate 3 spades, particularly when you're not vulnerable. Get your side to the number of trumps that you have and make life difficult on the opponents. Now, you don't know if you're bidding 3 spades and it's going to make when partner has a good hand. If partner has a super excellent hand, you could always bid 4 spades. Maybe you still make game. And basically, all you're saying is I have a few values and I have 4 trumps with this 3 spade bid. And the way that partner knows that it's not a good hand is that if you had a good hand here, you could Q-bid the opponent's suit. So we could do something like bid 2 clubs here if we had a good hand with spades. So that's the way we differentiate our spade raises, the ones that are purely blocking from the ones that have invitational or better values. Those ones would go into the Q-bid of 2 clubs. And by the way, those invitational hands, invitational plus hands, they might have as few as 3 trumps. So if we bid 2 clubs in the situation, we're saying invitational hand for spades, at least 3 trumps. One other idea, and let's talk about this briefly. We could also use a jump Q. So that's Q bidding their suit, but jumping in it as kind of like, it's almost the same idea as Bergen. Most experts would play this as something called a mixed raise. And this is 4 trumps and again, 5 to 9 high card points. So that might be an interesting treatment to agree on with your partner. If I were playing with a partner, I was confident would think this is the same way. Maybe that's the bid I would use. And the good thing here is that you kind of get 2 different things with the 3 club bid. First of all, you get to raise the auction to the level of the number of trumps you have. So 3 clubs obviously commits us to 3 spades. There's no going back to 2 spades. And the other thing you let partner know is, hey, I have, maybe a trick of defense. I have a smattering of high card points in my hand. Whereas if I jump to 3 spades, you wouldn't necessarily be able to count on me for anything. And that could be pretty important to partner. If they've got a big hand, it could be that the thing that lets them confidently double the opponents, for example, knowing that he can likely play you for a trick. So there's the thoughts on the advancement by East. We'll stick with this 3 club bid. Sure, why not? We've got 6 high card points and 4 trumps. I don't know where South wants to go here. I don't think I would double. I'm not sure whether double would be played as I want the suit led, or I think that it might be okay to compete higher in the suit, like extra length. I'm not sure which of those two interpretations would be, but one thing I will say is try and fight the notion that like they've bid my suit. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I've got a double. Um, don't think that way. That partner heard you open the bidding, and you don't have to remind him unless there's a reason. So, if you wanted the reason to be, hey, it might be okay for us to compete to 4 clubs, or if you wanted the reason to be, I definitely want you to lead clubs, that's fine. But like on this hand, we don't necessarily want either of those things. Like I would be okay with basically anything partner led, and I'm not sure it's safe to compete to the 4 level. So fight that knee jerk reaction to double anytime they bid your suit. It would fall in the category of talking to hear yourself talk. Yeah, I realize the irony of this is I prattle on for 15 minutes about the board too. So it goes pass, West bids 3 spades. And with this 11 count as North, partner doesn't know that I have this much. I would kind of just make a shrug double here. And this double isn't, it's not penalty. It's just, I'm not sure what's going on. It seems like we have at least half the high cards, and they are contracting for 9 tricks, and that doesn't seem right to me. And I think as South, I would just pass this out and play for penalties of 3 spades. And again, there's no, when the opponents bid like this, very often, well, I should say not very often, are you just going to have a ton of trump tricks. What you will have sometimes is just, opening hand, opposite opening hand. I realize they're both pretty close. They're both 11 counts, right? But a preponderance of the high card points, and the opponents have gotten to the 9 trick level. You don't really necessarily want to play offense unless partner's got a shapely hand. But what you do want to let partner know is, hey, I have a real hand over here and I'm not sure what to do with it. So this double you could think of as do something intelligent, an action double, a shrug double. I don't think that we're supposed to be defending 3 spades undoubled here. The interpretation that it's purely a penalty double would just be too restrictive here. You're not going to have that hand often enough. Okay. And I think I'd pass the South. Your other option, I guess, is to bid 4 clubs, but I would pass 3 spades doubled. That looks more likely to me to be a winner than trying to take 10 tricks on offense. So that's what we go with. What does the double dummy think? The double dummy thinks that West can make 7 tricks in spades. So this is 300 in north-south if they defend optimally. And you can also see that north-south can only make 9 tricks in clubs. So bidding 4 clubs would lead to down 1. That's actually what happened at our table. Moving on to 3. I'm going to try and stay with you guys for 22 boards here. It is 4 o'clock in the morning, and my day is wide open and nothing pressing on my time yet. So we'll see if we have the stamina to last through all 22 here. All right, as South, definitely have a pass. West has a pass. There are 11 semi-balanced in North. I would open this a heart. I'm opening this a heart in any chair, I believe. Well, yeah. Maybe not 4th. Definitely 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So it's a heart. We now have a 18 count balanced with heart stoppers. And I think I would use this opportunity to describe that by overcalling 1 no trump with the east hand. South, I don't think there's any reason to act here. If I were going to act, I think my choice would be, I don't like that either. I mean, the other things that are kind of reasonable are doubling, and double here would be penalty. Like I think we can beat 1 no trump. The reason I'm reticent to do that is I want to give partner some leeway to have opened pretty light in third chair. Also, I only have one heart to lead for partner. Against that, there's a pretty good chance I could set up these spades for tricks. So I do have what might be a source of tricks in the spade suit. So double has some consideration. Double here would definitely be for penalty when the opponent's bid one no trump natural. With the exception that when they open one no trump and we double, if we're playing like Capulet, Capuletti's penalty double. Don't, Meckwell, all those things might have an artificial meaning assigned to double. But, you know, if we have an auction like this where partners open, they overcall no trump, double needs to be, I think I can beat one no trump. And the other choice that's kind of reasonable, I think, is to bid two spades, which should be one of the few cases where we are naming a new suit, but it's not forcing. There's two big reasons for that, I suppose. Reason one is if we had a really good hand, we could just double one no trump now that we know that that's for penalties. So that logic should make two spades not forcing. The other thing is that we are a passed hand. So if we bid two spades, partner should never think that we have enough to force the bidding necessarily. Anyway, I think I would stick pass. Seems like the down the middle kind of action to take here. And I don't see any reason why North would be competing any further. I'm guessing that I would probably lead the Queen of Spades as South. And we can go to board 3, check out that no trump is only taking 6 tricks. We can hit our little sandwich menu or ladder, I think of it as, and look at show double dummy. And it looks like, oh, that is our contract. Let's go to somebody who played one no in the East. Can we find that? Yeah. If we hit show double dummy, it looks like the Queen of Spades is actually going to lead to a make. It would take us, interestingly, it would take a small diamond lead to beat one no trump legitimately. That's sort of interesting, but beyond the purvey of what I'm trying to accomplish here today. If this is 4 me's, East is declaring one no trump on the Queen of Spades lead. Why is it not bringing up my hands? All right. Board 4. This looks like a pass, followed by a 1 diamond opening. We have a balanced 12 count. Definitely open this. You have more diamonds than clubs, so go ahead and open a diamond. East. This is close. I guess I'm a 1 spade bidder. I think it's pushy though. Honestly, you've got a flat hand. You've got like these random queens. You have a bad spade suit. The one thing I can say for 1 spade overcall is it does set you up well to win the part score battle. Okay, so let's use this opportunity to do something I like to do, which is go down the road and see, you know, what people did who were sitting. Like, we don't even need to do that. My partner overcalled 1 spade, and he's pretty good. So let's stick with that sample size for right now. Keep in mind that when you play in games like these, particularly with players that you know to be strong, you can always click on the board, hit other tables in the lower right, and go right down the line and see what every player that you respect did faced with the same situation, right? And I think I'm you know, speculating, but I'm guessing that my partner would agree that this is a very borderline 1 spade overcall. It would make it so much more cut and dry if he had, say, like king, queen, 10, 9, 8 of spades. And that would be a hand with the same shape, same number of high card points, but that suit texture really, like if you think about king, queen, 10, 9, 8 of spades, that's a lot better for taking tricks if spades is trump, right? Whether they're declaring or we're declaring. King, queen, 10, 9, 8 of spades sounds like almost 4 tricks if spades is trump. But let's compare it with like when diamonds are trump. King, queen, 10, 9, 8. is likely to be the same amount of tricks that king, queen, empty fifth is. So when you start adding those interiors, it adds to the offensive prospects for the hand without necessarily adding to the defensive prospects. And that would be, what word am I looking for? First of all, I couldn't get insomnia. Now I can't get, and this is like cup of coffee number 3, honestly. That would be more, what is it when consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. The more offense we have, the more consistent it is with the desire to overcall. So it's a diamond of spade. South has what looks to me like a invitational plus hand with diamonds and no interest in the unbid major. If we had 4 hearts here in the strength hand, this is another time when we'd be using our negative double as our surrogate 1 heart call. We don't have that. So it looks to me like you would just make the cubit of the opponent's suit here. And this is invitational plus with diamond support. You don't have to alert this. This is a pretty standard meaning. I'm just typing it into the dialog box to help with anyone who is unclear about what these bids mean. West can't do anything here. Certainly not enough hand to bid 3 hearts, and you don't want to be committing the partnership to the 3 level with only 2 card trump support for partner. As North, the idea when you've got a minimum, a hand that would decline in invitation from partner, the idea is just return to your suit. So we're just going to return to 3 diamonds here. 3 diamonds does not say that I have extra diamond length. It just says I don't have much hand. I heard you say that you have at least an invite. I'm returning to the safe haven of, excuse me, the trump fit that I know that we have. And it goes pass, and now I suppose I have to ask myself if I'm content as South. I probably don't want to be going towards 5 diamonds because I think if partner had enough to make 11 tricks, we might have heard more than 3 diamonds out of him. The question is, do I want to take a crack at 3 no trump? And this is when you start thinking about, like, how's the play going to go in 3 no trump? Well, they're probably going to lead spades and knock out my ace. And then I'm going to need to take 8 tricks after that. And that just doesn't seem super likely to me, especially, again, a partner who said, I don't have any interest in game opposite a minimum. And I think I'd be done as South here. So I think I'm passing. I'm reticent to get us any higher than this in case partner's only got, it's possible he's got a 3-card diamond suit. Maybe he's only got 4. I don't want to bid too much in situations like this and talk him out of opening the bidding aggressively on future hands. So I think what I'm going to do here is what's called protecting the plus, making sure that I get a plus score out of this deal instead of pushing to get to some thin game, which is not, you don't have to do that at match points. And I think I'm taking the conservative-ish route of passing here. And, West's going to shrug and pass and lead high from a doubleton, or no, that's what would be called a lead out of turn in person. East probably is going to lead the king of spades and just blow a spade trick right off the bat. Is that true? Yeah. So if we look at our double dummy, North-South can take 10 tricks in diamonds. Turns out that they can take 9 tricks in no trump. Part of that's because partner's providing a second spade trick for us. We can also play these diamonds in a super weird way, which would be by leading low to the king and then running the jack, which pins the 10 and gives us 4 diamond tricks. But the normal way to play diamonds here, we're going to bang down the ace and then lose a finesse on the second round since we have 8 cards in the suit. And if the opponents had been able to get their spades going, that would be pretty bad for us. So I'm very happy as North-South here if I'm in 3 diamonds. making 110 or 130. If we look at the score slip, what happens if north-south takes 110 or 130? 110 would be 45% for north-south. 130 would actually be 83%. Look at this, guys. 110, 45%, 130, 83%. You've got to make all your over tricks. You got to make your over tricks. You got to hold down the over tricks. What that tells me is I got to get good at card play. I got to worry about card play and tricks, even in part scores, even after I've made my contract, even after I've made my game. There is a 38% difference between 110 and 130 here. All right, moving on to 5. Again, you've got a borderline opening as north. I think I would talk myself into a 1 diamond opening here. Again, notice that like I'm not scared about this vulnerability. This one, I think, you know, if you want to pass this hand, that's okay. But I'm definitely like trying to hit on a theme here, which is open the bidding, open the bidding, open the bidding, open the bidding. Generally, the good players and the young players are aggressive bidders. So, you know, that's good enough for me. So what are the people? And obviously, like there's room for style differences and all that, but I think like very generally, meta game speaking, it's a winner to bid aggressively. And again, think of it as like I could choose to take this option to describe my hand as pass, which would be the entire universe of non-opening hands and the entire universe of shapes, or I could open a diamond and have a sense of humor about my partnership's opening bid style and, you know, say something about my hand to begin with and put the opponents on their overcalling heels. So I would open a diamond with the north hand. If you want to pass, I'm not going to give you too many weenie demerits for doing that. So a diamond to the 11 count without a 4-card major is south. That looks like what you probably want to play 2 no trump as like 10 to 12 without a 4-card major. This is not forcing. Forcing no trumps never apply over a minor suit opening. Those are only over a major suit opening. And only if you have that agreement. I actually like semi-forcing, even by an unpassed hand. But without, little c is card, big M is major, little m would be minor. Again, you don't have to alert this. I'm just typing it in because I want to make sure everyone knows specifically what these bids should mean. I'm also like, this is not the world's best 11 count. It does have 2 aces, but it's also 4 triple 3, and the jack and the queen are scattered. So like if you gave me a 5-card suit, or if you put that jack with the queen, this hand would be so much better. Why I'm saying this is like, I wouldn't hate it if you actually responded a super heavy 1 no trump on this, particularly if we are opening the bidding kind of light. So that might be stretching it, but suffice it to say, 4 triple 3 hands aren't the world's best because they don't contain a long suit that we can develop for tricks. So you're either bidding a super, super heavy 1 no trump, or honestly, like a pretty light invitational 2 no trump here. West can't come into this auction. There's just not enough hand to be bidding at the 3 level. And realize is West here, like, even if you have that itch that I want to bid here, I'm not vulnerable, I've got a decent hand, got a little bit of shape, got the spade suit, realize that basically your opponents have already said, I have an opening hand, I have 11 balanced on your right. What does that leave partner with? You know, not much. And we're not going to be safe at the 3 level. And then North would obviously pass 2 no trump. Like the pass card should already be on the table. And you should already be joking and reminding partner that it's only 100 points per under trick. And, you know, just lead the queen of spades. We go to board 5. What are we doing in no trump? Looks like north-south is making 120 in no trump. You'll notice that's the par score. A reminder that par contract means it's the optimal contract where neither side can do any better. So north-south can't do any better than 1 no trump or 2 no trump, because that's the limit, and no trump's the highest scoring strain. And east-west can't do any better because there's nothing that they can take. There's nothing at the 3 level where they can only go down 1. And the problem with that is, if anything at the 3 level is going down 2, north-south can double you and get you at least 300, which dominates your strategy of just letting them play 1 or 2 no trump. On to 6. We have a pass. Oh, okay. Here's kind of a cool one. We have 6 clubs and 5 spades, and I think that there are kind of 2 different schools of thought on this. So I'm okay with either. I think with clubs and spades, the idea is that I can open a club. I don't have to jump shift into spades because I can still bid them at the 1 level. And then I'm going to bid 2 spades later. And partner's going to be able to get the idea that I don't have a ton of high card points because I didn't jump shift. I have more clubs than spades because I bothered to bid them first. But bidding spades and then rebidding spades seems indicative of a 5. And that's a way that you could, describe that you have 6 clubs and 5 spades without getting the bidding past the 2 level. With 6-5 hands, you are not looking to play defense anytime soon. So I would open a club here and not distort the relative lengths of the hands. If you wanted to play that, like with these type hands, you open a major without significant extra values, I guess I'm okay with that. But I really prefer the style that's 1 club on this hand. Actually, let's do our thing again. Let's see if anybody did open a club on this hand. So other tables. Board 5. Let's see if we can find any club openers. Or on board 6, that would help. Okay, there is it. Can I scroll down these with the down? Sheesh. Okay. All right, Henry Aaronhaft opened a club. Rosa opened a club. K. Joyce opened a spade. So there, right off the bat, you've got reasonable players doing different things. Bridge isn't about memorizing what the right thing to do is. Bridge is about managing risk and creatively solving problems, sometimes by yourself and sometimes with the help of a partner. There's another spade opening. Bob White opened a spade. He's certainly one of the stronger players in the field. So we've got different opinions on this. Personally, I'm a 1 club opener because it's going to be so convenient to pattern out here. So 1 club, as West. The question is this one of those times when I might want to bid 2 diamonds, even though I've got a pretty good hand, because partner is already a passed hand? And I think the answer is yes. Another reason why I'm more comfortable with bidding 2 diamonds here is that I'm vulnerable against not. So anytime that's the case, like, we can call it preemptive, but I can't get too far out of line here because of the fact that my partner's a passed hand and because of the vulnerability situation. So bridge logic dictates that this isn't like, I wouldn't think of it as a weak hand. Again, I would kind of think of it as like blocking. And again, remember the trick where if we have a hand that we know can't produce a game, and it's pretty hard to imagine that this hand can produce a game opposite a partner who couldn't open, again, particularly if you open aggressively, notice that, like, there are, sometimes we talk about unintended consequences coming back to bite us. An intended consequence of opening the bidding light is that we can get into some situations like this where we can make life harder on the opponents, secure in the fact that we don't necessarily have constructive intentions on this deal anymore. So I think I've convinced myself that 2 diamonds is a better call here. The other reason I'm bidding 2 diamonds is that singleton spade in my hand. Like I feel pretty confident that the opponents are likely to have a spade fit, and I'm going to make it harder for them to realize that spade fit by overcalling at the 2 level as opposed to the 1 level. So like if North, yeah, we get into sticky situations here for North, like whether they can bid 2 spades or 2 hearts or whether they can double. We'll talk about that in a second. And I've told you before that preemptive actions work better over a minor suit opening than they do over a major suit opening, because major suit openings are more useful for the offense. They give more actionable pieces of information. Not only do they say I have an opening hand, but they say I have 5 of the 8 things we need, the 8 trumps we need for us to have a major suit fit. Versus like when they open a club or a diamond, they haven't yet said anything about their major suit holdings. They've said something about a suit that doesn't rate to be trumps, particularly if their target on the hand is game. So anyway, that's all that. And what we have as North here is a semi-balanced 11 count. 5-4-2-2 is called semi-balanced. I think I want to highlight spades here and get across the fact that I have 10 points also by bidding 2 spades. If we doubled, it would mean like the emphasis would be on the unbid majors, and we sort of have both those. My spades are so much better than my hearts, and they're 1 card longer that I think I'm going to start by emphasizing the spades. But if we doubled here, the emphasis would be on any unbid majors. Here, there's 2 of them. But more generally, what a negative double by North here would mean is I have 2 safe havens for us. So that's either both majors, or I have 1 major and I have clubs with you, such that if you respond in the major I don't have, I can safely take us back to 3 clubs. So I think your 2 reasonable options here are double and 2 spades. And I'm going to choose 2 spades and potentially bid the hearts later on if it's convenient. 2 spades here is a Woolworths bid. That's a hard word to say for me. Woolworths. 5 spades, 10 high card points. I should say 5 plus spades, 10 plus high card points when we bid 2 spades here. Again, you don't need to alert that. I'm simply putting it out there to be my vocabulary is terrible at 4:26 in the morning. Just to be totally descriptive of literally what I'm saying. So I've taught enough like private classes or consulted with enough intermediate type players that I find it very, this is a tangent, but fine. I find it very useful for them to like put a number on bids, define bids. Don't have these like wishy-washy ideas about what your bids are. Literally try and know, like if I were programming a computer, what would 2 spades mean? And the 2 parameters I would put on it are I have at least 5 spades, I have at least 10 points. And get yourself in the practice of interpreting partners' bids the same way. Like the lazy way is they open a club and you say like, oh, well, he's got a good hand. That's the lazy way. The better way is he probably has more clubs than diamonds. He probably doesn't have a 5-card major. He doesn't have 15 to 17 balanced. He doesn't have enough to open 2 clubs. He doesn't have 20 to 21 balanced, on and on and on. Start, as soon as the auction opens up, start pruning down the stuff that your partner can't have, as well as what he has shown. So 2 spades. East is definitely going to bid some diamonds here. You got to be careful about the vulnerability. So, and also the fact that your partner might actually have a pretty good hand that can contribute to the defense. That being said, I don't have a whole lot of defense here. Looks like I might have a trick in hearts. I think that 5 diamonds is probably too much, but maybe it's not. Maybe 5 diamonds is the bid that puts the most pressure on them. I would feel so much better about it. Like if I were not vulnerable and they were vulnerable, I would have bid 5 diamonds 30 seconds ago. Here, I'm not sure. I will give you this piece of advice. When you're wondering about how many diamonds to bid in this situation, and if we bid 4 or 5, they're both like blocking, right? They're both just trying to put pressure on the opponents and saying that, like, look, if they stop to double us, this wouldn't be too bloody. The idea is to bid the number of, and this takes experience to develop the judgment on this, but the idea is to bid the number of diamonds that will make the opponent squirm the most. So if you think that bidding 5 diamonds is just going to give your opponents an easy double and an easy 200 points or 500 points, then don't do that. But if you think 5 diamonds is going to make your opponent squirm in their chair, wondering about whether they should bid 5 spades or double 5 diamonds, or maybe even they have a slam, then that's the right idea. And that would certainly be the idea if the vulnerabilities were reversed here. I'm concerned that if I bid 4 diamonds, that's the exact wrong number of diamonds, because it's just going to be pretty easy for South to bid 4 spades. And then it's going to come back to me and I'm going to be sitting there thinking like, well, should I bid 5 diamonds? Should I defend 4 spades? Maybe I should have bid 5 diamonds the first time around. The idea is to predict what will give the opponents the most fits, bid that now, and then be done. Okay, just be at peace with your decision. So I think I've talked myself into 5 diamonds. I'm not saying that it's 100% safe to do this, okay, at this vulnerability, but I think I've talked myself into 5 diamonds. 4 diamonds just seems too wimpy to me when I know they're just going to want to bid 4 spades over that. All right, so 5 diamonds to South, who has this undisclosed 5-card fit for partner and a diamond void. So, wow. I would be pretty tempted to go slamming with this hand, honestly. Maybe we just satisfy ourselves with 5 spades, and if they got us, they got us. Maybe that's a better thought to have here. But wow, the diamond void, the 6-5 shape, and the fact that partner's got 5 spades and 10 high card points certainly makes me worried that we actually have more than 5 spades. But I think I'm going to take the low road, protect the plus, and bid 5 spades here. And as it turns out, East 5 diamonds was exactly the right number of diamonds to bid on this hand, because it puts South in the most squirmy position that's possible. So 5 spades, everybody's done their all. East is definitely going to lead the Queen of Hearts. When you have a sequence like this, lead the Queen of Hearts. That's better than leading a diamond. Leading a diamond is kind of lazy in that, like, it's the way not to lose the postmortem. It's the way to be blameless, but we shouldn't play bridge to be blameless. We should play bridge to take the maximum number of tricks. And here the Queen of Hearts is going to lead to a 1-trick set. And it's sort of bad luck that North ended up declaring the spade. So it's random, but if South had declared spades, and you can even see on the double dummy here, South declaring spades is 11 tricks, North declaring spades is 10 tricks. That's dumb luck. That's the rub of the green. But the effect of North declaring spades is that East gets to lead the Queen of Hearts through the King. Whereas if West were on lead, he could never get his partner on lead to push a heart through the king, and you'd get to dump one of the hearts on the ace of diamonds. Moving on. Again, I would be opening the south hand. This one I feel is like a more clear-cut opening than, say, what was it, board 5? Yeah, compare 5 north, where we had king third, ace empty fourth, king jack fourth, too small, to this one. It's basically the same shape, right? It's exactly the same shape. 3 spades, 4 hearts, 4 diamonds, and 2 clubs. But this time we had the 10 of diamonds and the 10, 9, 8 of hearts, right? So this hand I feel like is actually like a good bit better than board 5 north. So this seems like an appropriate, hold on just a sec. I'm going to navigate to something called the KNR evaluator. Be right back, guys. Okay, so I found this evaluation tool. It's something called KNR, which I believe was originally introduced or at least popularized by the late Edgar Kaplan. I got introduced to this evaluation method pretty early on the Jeff Goldsmith site. Jeff Goldsmith had a fantastic website that is currently down. Unfortunately, the bridge community lost Jeff earlier this year, but I misspent a lot of time in my 20s on the Jeff Goldsmith site and have gotten so many good ideas and so much good bridge reading and knowledge from that site. And this was one of the reasons I would navigate over there sometimes, is to evaluate, you know, if I've got 2 hands, which one is the stronger hand. So I'm not exactly sure what the numbers are behind this, but the point of the evaluator is to assign a hand strength to 2 different hands. And it says, so I found this on Richard Pavlicek's site. Again, the Goldsmith site is down currently. I hope at some point it's archived or comes back up. And at some point I want to do a talk at the RBC as an homage to Jeff Goldsmith. He had some wonderful things on that site. And, you know, the community lost him too young to cancer, I think late last year. But anyway, he was a young guy. I think he just turned 60 maybe. Anyway, let's look at these 2 hands, plug them into the evaluator and see if it agrees with me here. So hand 5 was king third, ace fourth, king jack fourth, too small. And we had no cards 8 or higher. And we evaluate. All right. Kaplan Rubens is the thing we're talking about here. And it says the hand is worth 12.75. I feel like I put an extra high card point in there. 8, 11, 12. What did I do? Oh, I put the ace of diamonds. That would make the hand much better. Let's shift this to king. Okay, so we're at 11.35. And I say that this hand is worth less than the one we're currently looking at. So let's see what the one we're currently looking at is. King third, 10, 9, 8, fourth, ace and 1, king jack 10, fourth of diamonds. So first one was 11.35. That's 5 north. Versus, and did we have anything? Ace and a club here. And it's still king of diamonds lands. Right, so it's the exact same shape. It's 11 points. Get this right one more time. Yep. And I'm guessing, let's see. Okay, not as much better as I thought, but we've gone up to 11.6 with the additions of the 10, 9, 8, pairing this 10 with the jack. Okay, so actually not as much better as I thought it would be, but I guess one reason too is that your ace is now in your doubleton suit instead of on 5 it was in your 4-card suit. So I guess that's probably a pretty significant downgrade. Anyway, yeah, I would open a diamond. And then West just has this behemoth 19 high cards, 6, 3, 3, 1. I don't want to double without the spade suit. I think I'm going to content myself with a heavy 2 club call here. And even though it's 19, like, you do have 13 of your high card points locked up in suits that aren't, like, they don't have small cards behind them, so they're not developing tricks. And 2 club overcalls should be pretty good hands. So I think this is kind of like the high end of what a 2 club overcall can look like. And I know, like, I can already hear it, like, I thought you said overcalls were 7 to 17 and we were supposed to double with 18 plus, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, ish. The problem when you double without the spade suit is the next thing that happens is, North bids 4 diamonds and look at your partner's hand is East. Like, wouldn't you be pretty tempted to bid 4 spades? And now you don't have the spade suit. You have to go back to 5 clubs. So I would rather bid a heavy 2 clubs and have walked through the logic on why 2 level overcalls need to be, 2 of them minor overcalls in particular, need to show good hands, and make that choice rather than doubling and having to fight off partner when he insists on spades. Okay. One more thought on that. If you flipped my spade and club suits here, such that I have king, jack, 8, 6, 4, 2 of spades and the singleton ace of clubs, by all means, double first and then bid spades. Okay, but here we have the minor, we have kind of a bad suit, and we have a lot of our high card points concentrated in short suits, which are downgrades. All right, anyway, diamond 2 clubs. As North, I don't think you have enough to chirp here. I guess if you forced me to bid something, I guess it would be a negative double and just pass whatever partner bids. I don't love bidding with this hand. I don't like raising to 2 diamonds either. So I would be a passer. I think the other 2 reasonable options are double and 2 diamonds, but I feel like you're light strength-wise for a double and light a diamond or any shape for bidding 2 diamonds. And East is just going to kind of shrug and pass here. It would be totally normal for South to reopen with a takeout double. West could show that he has a very good hand by redoubling, perhaps. This isn't like to run. I mean, where are we running to? South says he has all the other 3 suits. Redouble in this situation would say I have a very good hand. And North still has this question of whether they should compete or not. I would still like not. So we can still go pass. South's going to get one more crack at this. And we don't love anything that's going on, but we have to kind of bid 2 diamonds here. West has described his hand at this point, I believe. And North is happy with this. And I think East probably should be happy also. Yeah, maybe you could bid 3 clubs, but I believe I'd be a passer. Let's see. What do we think? Board 7. Diamonds by north-south makes 6 tricks. Clubs by east-west makes 9 tricks. If we can take all our tricks on defense, we are actually getting 200 against 2 diamonds, even undoubled when they're vulnerable here. So that's my best guess in an auction there. 8. This was an interesting deal. Obviously, West and North start out with passes, and we have that problem again about what to open as East here. So this time, when you've got diamonds and hearts, particularly when your 5-card suit isn't spades, if we open a diamond, we've got to consider that the auction is somewhat frequently going to go 1 spade by partner. And now we're going to have to bid 2 hearts on the back end and sell the idea that we have a better hand than we actually have here. Playing strength wise, like, I think I'm okay with that plan. of opening a diamond and reversing into 2 hearts. But again, like if it's your style to open a heart with this, I'm not necessarily against that school. I'm just kind of more on the fudge a little bit about high cards and get the shape right school. So I believe I would be a diamond opener, but either way is probably fine. So let's say this goes a diamond. As south here, I don't think I want to bid 3 clubs yet, because I think we could still have a game. In particular, picture partner with both red aces. We would have 9 tricks, and we have a stopper in the 4th suit with Jack 10, 8, 4th of spades. So I'm not going to shift my thinking into blocking the bidding yet. Like by bidding 3 clubs, I'm just going to bid 2 clubs. So West has some values, but nothing convenient to bid here. I think that this time I am going to raise diamonds. I realize it's still like 4-3-3, but this time, like it's much more likely my partner has legitimate diamonds, and I have nothing wasted in their suit since I have 4 small clubs. The reason why I'm saying it's more likely that he has real diamonds this time is because South is overcalled 2 clubs, and I have 4 card length there. And I do have 9 high card points outside that suit. So I'm much more interested in suggesting offense with this hand. So again, like I think the whitest lie thing I can do is bid 2 diamonds. That seems like a better description than pass to me. And I certainly don't want to make a negative double with 3-3 in the majors here, knowing that partner doesn't have 5 of them. So that's what I think I'm going to do. North doesn't have anything to contribute. Now, as East, you can come alive and bid 2 hearts. And certainly, again, like with 6-5, excuse me, we are not looking to play defense anytime soon. So, like, it matters me absolutely zero that this commits us to the 3 level, because there's no way we're buying this contract for 2 diamonds. And like, we could still easily have a game and or a heart fit. So I'm bidding 2 hearts here. So South, I think one idea here might be to bid 2 spades. Like, and the same thing applies for 7-4. Like, particularly not vulnerable. You are not looking to sell out anytime soon. So I think you could probably offer 2 spades here. And notice, like, if we bid 2 spades rather than 3 clubs, like I hope if you're a red blood bridge player, you feel like you want to bid with the South hand. So kind of the knee jerk, not super thinking about things thing to do here would be bid 3 clubs, but it seems to me like 2 spades is better. Again, by bidding the clubs first and then the spades, you've gotten the fact that there's length discrepancy across the partner. So West should be kind of loving his hand at this point. And I think I would probably go ahead and bid 4 hearts. With my 9 points couldn't, like, my shape sucks, but my 9 points couldn't be any better in that they are fitting with the suits that partner has. And you could maybe say, like, well, are you sure that partner has 5 hearts? And I guess I'm not. Maybe partner has 4 hearts and a big hand and some shape. But he did bid 2 hearts knowing that I didn't make a negative double. And, if I did have 4 hearts and a diamond raise, those are the type of hands that might have gone into a negative double to begin with. We talked about the negative double would show at least 2 places to play. So I think there's a pretty strong inference that he's likely to have 5 hearts here. Okay. If he's only got 4, we might be in some trouble because they're going to be leading clubs and forcing him to rough with his 4-card heart suit if he does have that. So I don't know. I got ace queen third. Sounds to me like partner really ought to have 5 hearts on this auction. I think I'm bidding 4 hearts. And as North, I would now bid 4 spades for sure. There's a bridge saying that has served me pretty well, which is when in doubt, bid 4 spades over 4 hearts, particularly at equal vulnerability. I've heard the auction go this way with East-West going crazy in the red suits, my partner going crazy in the black suits, and I still have this expressed hand with ace king fourth of spades. This is what the poker kids would call an under-repped hand. So if in poker, like the betting goes in such a way that your opponents would have no reason to think that you have a strong hand as you do, you would call that situation your hand strength being under-repped. So North's hand strength is under-repped here, and I think is worth a 4 spade call. And again, as East, like I'm not looking to sell out anytime here. So I think we're bidding 5 diamonds. South has pretty much bid his hand at this point, would have to compete to the 6th level in clubs. West would come back to 5 hearts. And to me, that's like how the auction would go. We have 5 heart tricks and 6 diamond tricks. And East-West is going to make 11 tricks in either red suit here. Let's look at the par on this one. So East-West can make 11 tricks in either red suit. North-South can actually make 11 tricks in clubs. So it turns out that par here would be North-South bidding 6 clubs, getting doubled because East-West can't make any contract above 6 clubs, and East-West collecting 100 points. That's kind of a neat hand to think about in terms of what does par mean. All right, we have another 4-4-3-2 shape, this time a little bit better in terms of high cards, and we have that 10 of diamonds, 9 of spades. This is an easy 1 diamond call. It's 13 balanced, 4-4-3-2 shape, and when we're 4-4 in the minors, generally the idea is that we want to open a diamond. Okay. This goes pass. South should respond 1 heart. I have at least 4 hearts. I have enough to chirp. West is going to chip in 1 spade, certainly here, with a pretty good hand with 5 spades, 5 pretty good spades. I would suggest strongly that you play a convention called support doubles, such that if opener were to double here, the meaning would be I have 3-card support for responder's suit. So kind of a cool thing that comes out of that is you don't have to bid 2 hearts on only 3-card support. You get to differentiate between 3 and 4-card support. And when you pass in situations like these, you draw an even clearer picture of your hand because partner basically knows you can't have 3 trumps for him when you pass. So it's like, if I pass in a situation like this, partner can basically tell I've got a probably flat 12 to 14 with a doubleton heart. And the reason he can do this is because of all the negative inferences that abound. I didn't rebid diamonds. I didn't make a support double. I didn't bid 2 clubs. So realize that it might not make sense immediately, but sometimes pass is the thing that you do that gives the most tone to your hand, pairs it down the most, gives it the most definition. So I guess North does have another option here of rebidding 1 no trump, which not sure if North's supposed to do that or not here. It seems weird to take an unforced bid, but I do have a double stopper in spades. So I believe that 1 no trump here still doesn't show any significant extras, and maybe it's the best idea with this, good spade situation. So as East here, my partner bid 2 clubs. That looks good. The other option is just to go ahead and bid 2 spades. But stick with 2 clubs. That seems like kind of a good description of the hand. Again, I'm not going to go crazy and think he has some great hand because he couldn't overcall a diamond. And this gets his suit that he wants led on the table in case I'm on lead against a heart contract. And he always does have the option to come back to 2 spades later. So if somehow the bidding dies in two clubs, he's probably fine. Otherwise, he's going to get a chance to bid two spades on the back end. And both these options are kept in play by bidding two clubs now. As south, I think now you can show your diamond support. I passed as west in this auction, and it did go. My partner came back in with two spades here, and that was it. All right, on to what did we get for two spades? Yeah, 92%. I think maybe the defense could have taken one more trick against us. Yeah. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I know it's going long, but you know what? You can jump around to the boards you're interested in. You always have the option to just turn me off. You also have the option to put me on double speed if Mickey Mouse voice doesn't bother you much and you wish that I would speed up. So this is a pass by East. Another 4-4-3-2 12 count. Boy, if this north-south set of hands doesn't make you want to play weak no trump, I don't know what will. You're going to open this a club. Pass. North definitely bidding a spade. One spade, let's practice, literally says, I have enough to respond. 6 plus points. I'll do it unless sometimes. And at least 4 spades. East-west just has balanced yuck hands, so they're out of this. South rebids one no trump. One no trump says I have one of the balanced shapes, either 4-4-3-2 or 4-3-3 or 5-3-3-2. I don't have 4 spades because I would have raised 2 spades if I had 4 of them. And probably you can eliminate some of the 3-card raises too. Like sometimes if you had 5-3-3-2 with 3 spades and a worthless doubleton, or 4-3-3, maybe even with a worthless tripleton, some people might bid 2 spades even on 3 of them. So when we rebid one no trump here, we're saying balanced hand, 11 or 12 to 14, fewer than 4 spades, and you can probably eliminate a little bit of my 3-card spade range. So anyway, and it's north, like you don't have to mess around anymore here. You know that the place to play is 4 spades, and that's it. There's no like thinking about new minor forcing here, none of that stuff. You should be able to count on your partner for at least a doubleton spade. You know that they have 13 points, give or take 1. So the 2 main questions that we're trying to answer during the auction, which are, do we have an 8-card major fit? And do we have game values, are both yes and yes. And then like the tertiary question, I suppose, is do we have enough to investigate slam? And the answer is clearly no. I have a 6-3-3-1 13 count, and partner has a balanced 12 count. So 4 spades is the place to play this hand. Easiest board to bid of the night so far. We have a pass followed by 1 diamond with the 5-4-4-0. There's a 14 count as north. So I'll tell you what I don't have a ton of sympathy for is 2 clubs here. The suit is too bad, and there's an alternative that keeps more horses in the running. It's going to encourage a slightly bad habit. So I think the 2 reasonable choices here are either overcall 1 no trump, emboldened by your good stopper in their suit and the fact that you have a 5-card club suit, and the thought that overcalling 1 no trump might be a more useful description of your hand than passing, which I believe is your other option. I would pass before I overcalled 2 clubs on King 10, 7, 6, 4, and a flat hand that has plenty of options of other places to play. So I'm ranking the choices. I think I like pass best, 1 no trump second best, and 2 clubs a pretty distant third here. One reason or one thing that makes 1 no trump more attractive here is the fact that we're not vulnerable. So I would be way more scared about overcalling 1 no trump if we were vulnerable when my partner couldn't open the bidding, because it would be so easy for my left-hand opponent to wake up with 9 or 10 points, double me. We talked about doubles of 1 no trump overcalls are for penalty. And even if they nipped me by 1 trick, it would be 200, which would basically guarantee me a 0 on the board if they didn't have a game. So anyway, I think both 1 no trump and pass are reasonable, and 2 clubs I would say is testing the boundaries of reasonable, not completely crazy or anything. Not sure if I'm allowed to say that word anymore either. Anyway, pass, 1 no trump, 2 clubs, I think would all get votes. Let's stick with 1 no trump. And again, like I can hear, our convention card says 15-8. Like, bridge is more beautiful and creative and outside the box. And yeah, than that. We talked about the reasons I'd be willing to fudge 1 no trump here. So realize that the idea you're selling to your partner is that you have 15-18 balanced, and oh well, you owe them a point, and you're emboldened by the fact that you block both the majors now and are not vulnerable. So my partner bid 2 clubs. Again, we talked about this earlier. This is just to play. It's not forcing, even though it's a new suit by responder, because we can throw most of the good hands into just double of 1 no trump. And I passed as West. I knew that I had 3 quick tricks for him. I figured he could score whatever club tricks he had coming. This obviously isn't going to be like a pull trump and run our tricks hand. It's going to be a scramble tricks hand. But he hasn't suggested another suit. I already said that I have diamonds. He didn't seem interested in that. And the best way to get out of a misfit hand when partner is making non-forcing calls is to quit digging. And quit digging is the green card. So that's one possible option. Partner ended up scrambling 7 tricks on this one for -50, and that was only 21%. So we, a side really needed to go plus on this hand to get a good score. Let's go down an alternate path since we saved so much time on 10. Let's say that, let's go down 2 alternate paths. Let's say that North passed. East is going to be at a heart. It's going to go pass by South. West has a huge dummy for hearts. This is 5 losers. Guys, I think I would splinter with 4 club. I think I would force to game opposite a heart. If that's like too much octane for you, certainly at least bid 3 hearts. An interesting thing to notice, so we'll stick with that. I honestly would splinter in clubs. Like a 4 club bid here would be, I have a raise to 4 hearts on trick taking power, but I also have club shortness in case you had a much better hand than you've got, and that could be the key to us getting the slam. Let's talk about this 3 heart bid though. We'll stay with the 3 heart bid for a second. This hand is proving more interesting than I originally gave it credit for. 3 hearts here should show invitational strength. What's invitational strength mean opposite a partner who responded? Well, it's like 15-17, 15-18, somewhere in there. But it's support points, right? So as dummy, I'm allowed to count my club void. But the interesting thing to notice is if 3 hearts here shows 15-17, it also promises some shape, like either a singleton or a void, probably. Maybe just a doubleton, maybe like 5-4-2-2 shape, but it also implies some shape because we had 15-17 without any shape. What would we have done? We would have opened a no trump, right? So 3 hearts by partner. Can I talk myself into raising the game here? I have 8.5 losers. I think I would protect the plus and pass as East if this were the case. Notice that like East has a really bad hand for having responded 1 heart, and we can still make 9 tricks, even though like half his hand is wasted in the queen jack of clubs, we can still make 9 tricks in hearts. Let's go down one more path. Let's give North this yucky 2 club overcall. You guys are going to get the idea that I hate 2 club overcalls. I don't hate 2 club or 2 diamond overcalls. I just hate that they're abused. Let's say that happened. East would pass. You don't you don't have enough hand to make a negative double, I don't think. And why do we want to make a negative double and suggest offense? What we'd like to do is defend 2 clubs, I think. So we're going to pass. It would be totally reasonable for South to raise to 3 clubs. Like 2 clubs is supposed to be a good hand, and I have 3 card support. And, certainly don't want to hear them competing in hearts. I'm going to bid 3 clubs at some point anyway. Might as well bid it now and show that I've got a fit and some support. What's likely to happen at this point is West makes a takeout double, and it goes 3 passes. And you see that North-South takes 7 tricks and clubs, and East-West ends up with plus 300. And 300 is going to get you a 16.7%. I'm happy to see that there were so many 3 clubs doubled here. Kudos to the East-West who did that. But anyway, if you're North and you're lazy at this point, you can say well, it was bad luck that the Trumps broke 5-0. Fair point. But I had 14 points. That's the kind of you had a bad suit. You had a king 10 7 6 4. You had other reasonable ways to describe this hand. I would call 3 clubs doubled down 2 here. A little bit unlucky, but a little bit. That's what you get. Anyway, moving on to 12. Then I'm going to take a quick restroom break because of the 3 cups of coffee and be back for the last 10 boards. All right, West has another 11 count balanced, 4-4-3-2. This time we're white against red. I opened this hand 1 diamond, even though I knew I was playing with a partner who probably expected me to have more than this. I still opened a diamond on this hand. This is, again, testing the lower bounds of what I'm willing to open the bidding with. And if we go to the K&R evaluator here, I bet this is less than 11. So the other 2 borderline hands were 11.35 and 11.6. Let's give him ace and 1, 4 small, king, queen, empty 4th, king, queen, 8 4th. Better give myself that. And queen 3rd, evaluate. 10.15. Anyway, I'm going to go down with the ship saying that it's right to open the bidding aggressively. And if partner really wants to fight me on that, I'm certainly, this actually goes to a much deeper discussion, which is I'm basically pretty laid back about what I will or won't do convention wise or style wise, such that I'm willing to be the not dominant partner as far as what we're going to play. I'm generally not the one who insists on things. And then that's not just because I'm a pushover. It's just because I believe that making partner comfortable has more value than me insisting on some particular set of agreements, especially when I don't feel all that strongly about anything in particular. One thing I do feel strongly about is that it's winning bridge to open the bidding aggressively. So that's all my thoughts on opening a diamond here. North passes. East is going to bid a heart. South is going to overcall a spade. West is going to raise to 2 hearts here, and this promises 4 hearts if you're using support doubles. Also promises a minimum-ish hand. Remember, if we had extra values, we could bid 3 hearts or 4 hearts or splinter, depending on how strong we were. I like to think of it in terms of loser count. 2 hearts is the 7 loser type hand. I don't even want to count the losers on this, but 2 hearts is a minimum. 3 hearts would be a trick more. 4 hearts would be another trick. It's Yeah, kind of amazing. You bid one level higher with one more trick and 2 levels higher with 2 more tricks. What is the loser count here? 1.5 diamonds, 2.5 clubs is 4, 3 hearts is 7, half a spade, 7.5. That's one of my sounder openings. Kidding, not kidding. North should definitely raise to 2 spades. And I think everyone's going to be done here. So I guess this is worth talking about. Lance, isn't this one of those auctions where the opponents have an 8-card fit and they're about to play at the 2 level if you pass, and you've said that that's bad bridge? Fair point. However, here, like, my partner had a chance to compete to 3 diamonds or 3 hearts and didn't. And I have this crapo hand that's balanced, and it's already like completely described. I already opened a diamond. I already showed that I have 4 hearts. Partner wasn't interested. I am not vulnerable, so that's pretty tempting, but I will tell you that I was faced with this exact auction, I believe, right? Let's get back to board 12. Show up auction. Yeah, I was faced with this exact auction and I did choose to pass. So let's check out what would happen if we continued bidding. If we continued bidding, the best place we could end up is in 3 hearts. And against this set of opponents, Collins, patron member Collins Williams, and patron member Audrey Shull, I'm sure that they would be happy to double us and get the 300 that they had coming against 3 hearts versus the 110 that we pay out in 2 spades. You'll notice the par score is north-south bidding 2 spades. Again, the concept of par is it's the contract where neither side can do any better. We've talked a lot about par today, but it's a really good concept to have conceptualized in your mind for competitive type auctions. I'm going to take a bathroom break and be right back with you guys. As soon as I can find the pause recording button. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Forgot to share with you guys that I did James Taylor's Wikipedia page this morning before we started on this, since that's the video thumbnail, is James Taylor and Carly Simon. Things I did not realize about James Taylor. This shows you how naive I am. I didn't realize he'd struggled with drug addiction. I also didn't realize he was Chapel Hill, even though that doesn't surprise me, given the names of some of the songs. It does also not surprise me that he came from money. What else? Oh, I didn't realize that he was confronted by Hinckley. Is that the guy who shot Lennon? Maybe that's the guy who shot Reagan. Whoever it was that shot Lennon confronted James Taylor the day before and was like saying crazy stuff. And I didn't realize, again, that word crazy, I'm not sure I can use, but apparently, yeah, James Taylor like heard the 5 gunshots that killed Lennon because they were living in the same apartment building. So anyway, that's the stuff I learned about James Taylor today. And it's time to do board 13. The reason I got on the James Taylor kick, so when I wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning because of insomnia and fear of apnea, it's sometimes with the ulterior motive of playing in a poker cash game that I know of on my phone that's worked out fairly well for me lately. Anyway, when I played online poker, when they used to have screen names. So right now, the site I play online poker on, everybody is anonymous, and that's no fun. But it used to be the case that everybody had clever screen names, and mine was actually minus 790. It's an homage to bridge and the fact that I double too often and don't set it too often. Anyway, sometimes I would notice, like, you have to understand, I used to have 30 screens that just rattled through. I would literally sit at the computer with an Xbox controller with, the actions you can take at a poker table: raise, all in, fold, call, those are the basic ones. I would have each of those mapped to an Xbox controller and sometimes be playing upwards of 30 games at once. And I would just, hit the action, the table would flip, the monitor would flip to the next screen, make the choice, make the choice, make the choice. This is just how my day would go. And you get a 5-minute break every hour, but it's just training yourself to make those decisions so quickly. And you don't really have time to do a lot of processing of what's going on at any one individual table when this is a really long-winded way to how we got to James Taylor, but bear with me. But I would find myself sometimes my brain would process a screen name, even though like literally it was going by too quickly for me to absorb anything. And I'd find myself singing a song, say, that was related to a screen name, sort of in an adjacent type fashion. So back to playing poker on the phone this morning. One of the guys I was playing against, now on the phone, you actually do have screen names. On there, I'm Shoal Train. It's not clever. But his name was Cowboy. And one of the other people seated at the table had asked. So these people do this weird thing where they change screen names all the time. I don't know if it's just to have fun or because they're trying to hide the identity of somebody who lost a lot of money a couple nights ago. But one of the other players asked, is Cowboy James? So 5 minutes later, I realized that I'm humming Sweet Baby James and John Taylor. He's a wide receiver for the 49ers, Lance. James Taylor, that's how we got to Wikipedia. That's how we got to the thumbnail today. And on with board 13. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. This should go check, check. We have 18 balance. Is that true? Yes, with 4-4 in the minors, we open a diamond with the intention of rebidding to no trump. With 5-5 in the majors, start with your higher ranking suit. If we're going to be bidding both 5-card suits, we want to start with the higher ranking one. So a spade here. South comes back with 2 no trump. North can bid 3 hearts, assuming that's forcing. South takes a preference to 3 spades, and North raises to 4. Looks about right. And probably what's going to happen is that East is going to lead the Jack of Diamonds, which will allow South to get rid of that club loser and draw some trumps before East-West can conduct the optimal defense of club to the ace, heart through, and a heart for an uppercut to promote the 10-9-8 fourth into a trick. Anyway, board 14. I think I'm going to make it, guys. Goodness gracious, we have another 11 count, 4-4-3-2. Let's stay on brand and get a quick pitch in for this is the only shape, unless you're doing something weird or have some weird agreement with your partner. If you are playing standard bridge, this is the only shape that opens 1 diamond on a 3-card suit. Is specifically 4 spades, 4 hearts, 3 diamonds, and 2 clubs. Anytime you have 3 cards in both minors, like the normal thing to do is open a club. If you want to exercise judgment or color outside the box, like I don't have any problem with opening a diamond on those hands, I guess, exactly. But if we're talking strictly textbook bidding, this is the only shape that opens a diamond on 3. I would double with the south hand. I think it's enough. Shorten diamonds, you have something resembling an opening hand. You have support for anything that partner can bid. So, as West, you have a pretty good hand here. You have a 14 count, and partner opened the bidding. So, if we were interested in playing defense, we'll talk about that in a second. The way we would show a good hand that was defensively oriented, when I say defensively oriented, what I generally mean is a hand that's balanced, like a flat hand, and or a hand that doesn't have a fit for partner. The idea would be to redouble. And that would show 10 plus points. And should be starting to wave the flag towards we have a misfit and or like we want to defend this hand. And saying those two things are kind of the same thing. Like saying I have a misfit is kind of the same thing as saying I would choose defense over offense. Misfits defend, fits play. That's why we bid so much with 6-5 hands. Because if we can find any sort of fit, we want to play the hand, not defend it. Anyway, back to this. Would I redouble with this hand? The other option is that most people play something called Jordan 2 no trump here, which when it goes a suit double and you bid 2 no trump, that's the way to show a limit plus hand for partner. So would I be willing to sit out any of this stuff? God, there's part of me that just wants to haul off and bid 3 no trump also. It's so likely that that's going to be where we want to play. I protect all my queens. That's definitely in play. Oh, by the way, like if you do bid 3 no here, it ought to be something like 13 to 15 with stoppers. It's I've heard it said before, like 3 no trump is a shutout bid here. It's not. It should show like 13 to 15. I mean, 9 times out of 10, partner's going to be passing it. And here I can't really imagine that partner's got anything but like a weak no trump type hand when he opens and it goes double on my right. So I sort of think that all roads are going to lead to 3 no, and I want to go ahead and bid it. And again, like I'm not worried about the fact that I don't have spades stopped. Like worst case scenario, they lead spades and I don't have them stopped. There's a pretty strong inference that South doesn't have 5 spades. Why? Because he would have overcalled 1 spade with a lot of those hands. So even if it turned out we somehow didn't have a spade stopper here, very likely the opponents can only rattle off 4 spade tricks. So there's that. I think I'm talking myself into just bidding 3 no with this hand. Other options would be redoubles 10 plus with a desire to defend, and 2 no trump would be limit plus with support for partner and an offensive oriented hand because of the failure to redouble. Okay, so we'll just walk through those so you can literally see what they would mean. Undo. I'll just say them. I'm not going to type these out. Redouble. 10 plus high card points, a desire to defend based on flat shape / misfit for partner. 2 no trump is offensive oriented. Invitational plus. It's called Jordan 2 no trump. I think it's a good convention for playing, regardless of whether your partner opened a minor or a major and it goes double. I would say 2 no trump is the offensive oriented invitational plus hand. Or I think on this hand, we just bid 3 no trump and be done with it. I think that'll probably be the end of that one. 3 no trump is what I ended up declaring on this hand. Notice that my partner did not open the hand. I opened a diamond. He bid a heart, 1 no, 2 no invitational. I was super happy to drive it into 3 no trump with an absolute maximum for my 1 no trump rebid. I told you my partner had higher standards than I do. We have another balanced 11 count, and I would open a club, even vulnerable. West has an 18 count with spades. We talked about that earlier. This is like right on the cusp of doubling versus bidding 1 spade. I think this is just barely good enough to double in bid spades. So let's do that. So club double. North could mention spades. North could just bid 1 no trump here, knowing that West has kind of suggested that he's got spades, and my spades are only 10-8 fourth. I think probably the best thing I could do here is bid 1 no trump. And 1 no trump here, since it's not a forced bid, like I could pass with some boring 6 and 7 counts. I think most people play that 1 no trump in this auction is more like 8 to 10. Again, like the textbook bid maybe is a spade, but I'm flat. I have bad spades. and I have an opponent on my right who has suggested that he has spades. So I think all that would lead to one no trump being the most useful thing I can do as North. Losing my voice here a little bit. That's all right. We're motoring through this. Be damned if I'm not going to do all 22 boards today. So it goes pass, South def passes. West can bid 2 spades at this point. You could also try double. I suppose double would be penalty. I am looking at like 6 tricks for sure. Also, the opponents are vulnerable. If we could beat them and they don't have a place to run, that's 200. Actually, I kind of like that idea. Let's double. And again, it's the same thing, like double of their one no trump. When they've bid one no trump to play, and we're not talking about a situation where they've opened a no trump and our double is conventional like it would be in don't or Meckwell. Double is, I think I can beat one no trump here. North's got no reason to remove it. East has got no reason to remove it. As East, don't freak out here and think, oh my God, I only have 3 points. Partner knows you've only got 3 points and he's still doubled. So you can just pass and lead the Queen of Hearts if they want to let you do that. So I think as South here, like I would run to 2 clubs, I believe. And now as West, I would go ahead and give up the ghost and bid 2 spades. And I believe that would probably be the end of the auction. That's one way to do it. Moving on to 16. Hey, a good hand, an actual opening hand. We open a club with 5-4-3-1 shape. North is close to being able to double on this. He doesn't have diamonds. He's got a flat hand. I think your heart's in the right place if you double with this hand, but it's just a little too rich for me, and I think I'd be a passer. East has this kind of classic question of whether to respond to diamond or a spade. Some of it depends on style. Personally, me, I think I would bid 1 spade with this hand and forget the diamond suit. Again, like my partner, who's a super strong player, did respond 1 diamond. It's his, and again, like he's a little more old school than I am. He did respond 1 diamond on this hand. I believe I'd be a 1 spade bidder because like that way, if partner rebids 1 no trump, I'm confident that we're in the right place. You know, he wouldn't have been able to raise spades. So I'm a 1 spade bidder. And then this is just going to light up the radar for West. We have a 5.5 loser hand. And partners just responded our king 10 fourth. So let's see. If we talk about points, I've got 14 in a singleton. What's that? That's supposed to be worth 17, I think. So I could bid a pretty heavy 3 spades, or I could splinter by bidding 4 hearts here. Let's say we take the conservative route and just bid 3 spades. This is going to go past 4 spades. If we were to splinter, partner probably shouldn't be super excited by that, but maybe a little bit. Anyway, I think all roads are going to lead to 4 spades here. Again, notice that West rebid of 3 of a major here indicates shape, indicates shortness somewhere because he's shown 15 to 17 points or support points, but he didn't open a no trump. So the only justification for that is that the 3 spade rebid has shape, right? Good little inference to file away, I think. And it goes along with, you know, as soon as your partner doesn't open 1 no trump, he can't have 15 to 17 balanced anymore. Get in the habit of making the negative inferences as well as the direct. Is it negative inferences or indirect? Anyway, inferences versus something that's literally said. Get used to thinking in terms of both. Okay, this was a good one. This is pass. Heart by East, definitely. North, South are definitely out of this auction. West is going to respond to spade. You don't have to rush to game force. Like I'm already looking at this hand and pretty much knowing I'm going to game force. But if I am a previously unpassed hand, unlimited hand, and I name a new suit at the 1 level, that is 100% forcing for 1 round. So I could do that. What's going to happen next here is a jump shift by East. So my partner did what's called a jump shift into 3 clubs. Jump shifts are natural and they are game forcing. So once we rebid 3 clubs with a hand like this, there's no more stopping below 3 no trump. Okay. You know what, pass, and I was like, it didn't even cross my mind the partner would think this might not be forcing. As soon as he bids 3 clubs, we're in a game force. I described my 6th spade by bidding 3 spades. He bid 3 no trump. And I definitely didn't want to give up on slam, with a hand this good with aces and a singleton and 3 card support for his 2nd suit. I didn't want to give up on slam. I went ahead and bid 4 clubs. At this point, we're past 3 no trump. I think partner probably just reasoned, like, at this point, all roads lead to 6 clubs. Let's bid it, see how many we can make. I don't want to play 5 clubs and make 400 or 420 when 3 no trump was taking, 430, 460 the whole time. So that's kind of the basic auction that we had. The number one thing you can take away from this hand, I think, is that, first of all, East has enough to force to game. And that, second of all, these jump shift auctions where we skip a level of the bidding into skip a level of the bidding to rebid naturally are game forcing. Okay. Similar, like a diamond, a heart, 2 spades, jump shift, game forcing. Slightly different from a reverse, which most pairs play. You could still, it's forcing for 1 round, but you could still get out below game potentially. Anyway, jump shift should be game forcing. That's the main takeaway here. I'm really running out of voice, so we might hustle through these. I still have a play thing to show you on 20. This is a 1 heart opener, followed by a pass, followed by 2 hearts, followed by a pass, probably followed by a pass, right? I don't want to let them play 2 hearts when they are known to have an 8 card fit and have stopped shy of even inviting game. So I think, like, I either want to play clubs or diamonds. I don't want to insist on clubs. The way I can keep both in the picture here is by bidding 2 no trump. I don't really want to double and have partner bid 2 spades. One thing I suppose that double does have going for it is that every once in a while partner could leave 2 hearts doubled in. And I wouldn't hate that. But I think 2 no trump here should be for the minors. And I'm choosing that over 3 clubs because it keeps 2 horses in the running instead of unilaterally deciding that I want to compete in clubs. And 2 no trump can't be natural here, right? We didn't bid over 1 heart. And we're skipping past the potential to bid 2 spades. Therefore, all those things logically say that we have the minors. I don't think West has any reason to bid. North very happily bids 3 diamonds. A reminder not to get super excited in spots like this, because to some extent your partner is already bidding your hand for you. Like the fact that they've stopped in a part score has told your partner that you have values that you just couldn't bid. So don't look at this hand and say, oh my God, I have 9 points when I could have 0. Your partner's already bidden those points to some extent. So don't do what we call hanging partner and bid too much in this situation. Partly your partner is already bidding your values. I think white on red with a diamond void. Now at this point, I would go ahead and compete the 3 hearts with the East hand. South, you should pat yourself on the back and be happy that you pushed them off the 2 level into the 3 level. That's half the battle, is getting them to the 3 level. That's an acceptable result. And now as North, I have to figure out if I'm tempted enough to bid 4 diamonds. The vulnerability is wrong. I don't want to undo partner's good work. It just seems like if I bid 4 diamonds, especially against competent opponents, that it's going to be way too easy for them to double and get, even if they beat me one trick, even if I can take 9 tricks, they get 200 in the top. I can predict that 200's the top because they haven't made any sort of move towards game. So even if people are selling out to heart contracts, like I know that a heart contract can never score the 200 that they can get by doubling me and beating me one trick. So I'm going to be done. If we take a gander at this, you can see East-West can take 9 tricks in hearts. North can only take 9 tricks in diamonds. And the par score is 3 hearts because North-South can't profitably bid 4 diamonds because East-West, because of the vulnerability situation, would be able to double them and get a better score than if they play 3 hearts. All right, 4 boards left. Let's get through them. 10, 14 balanced. I would be fine upgrading this to 15 and opening a no trump. If you want to be conservative, open a club, but I'm opening a no trump. Ask me if I'm worried about not having a diamond stopper. Let's pretend that you're playing Meckwell. It seems like kind of the popular thing to play now. With 5-5 shape, I definitely want to get involved. Meckwell is double shows both minors. No, both majors are 1 minor. That's not what I've got. Bidding 2 diamonds shows diamonds to major. So that's what I've got. And exclamation point followed by D will give the diamond symbol. Capital M is for a major. North is passing. East is getting greedy and bidding 2 hearts, which is pass or correct. And that's probably the end of the auction. And you have talked them out of their game by opening a no trump and pushing them into competitive territory where the objectives of the hand are more to compete than they are to worry about getting to their own game. And you can see here, North-South is called for 4 hearts. And if they stopped in 2 hearts and made the 170 that they're due, you can see down here, 10 tricks and hearts. 170 for East-West would result in 83% for North-South. So there's something good that opening a no trump can do also. And it never even came into play that you didn't technically have the diamond stopped. So there. All right, back to 20. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to take some time on this hand. I opened a gambling 3 no trump with the West hand, which says I have a solid minor and no outside ace or king the way we play it. I had no idea what was right. Like, I haven't seen a 9-card suit in a while, so kind of freaked out. I think it's arguable that you should just open 5 diamonds. I think if you play a gambling 3 no trump, that's fine. Although, like, if partner passes 3 no trump, it's quite likely that we aren't high enough. I think you could open a diamond, maybe reasonably. 3 diamonds is way too conservative for me to consider. I think the options I'm going to narrow it down to are 1 diamond, 5 diamonds, and a gambling 3 no trump, if you happen to do that. 4 diamonds, I suppose, is in play too. That's reasonable. So 1 diamond, 4 diamonds, 5 diamonds, gambling 3 no trump opening, all that is pretty reasonable. Let's skip ahead. Let's just say we open 5 diamonds. Realize that, like, if you open 5 diamonds, if we're purely worried about making our contract, which we shouldn't necessarily be doing, like, we can be bidding 5 diamonds, not knowing if 5 diamonds might make, or if it's a save over therefore of a major contract, which they quite likely have when we look at a shape like this. I think I'm talking myself into liking 5 diamonds more. I didn't do it at the time because I was too worried that 5 diamonds would be trading a plus score for a minus score, but maybe I shouldn't have worried about that as much. Anyway, reasonable options: 1 diamond, 4 diamonds, 5 diamonds, gambling 3 no if you happen to be playing that. Let's talk about the play, because a really cool thing happened, and there's a good thing that we can talk about on defense here too. So let's just pretend it went 5 diamonds, pass, pass, pass. And let's pretend that North led a 4th best spade. And I realize that we don't have the benefit in real time of seeing Declare's hand. It looks pretty easy here to just cash our 2 spades in our club, but I want to show you what's going to happen if we don't and how we can avoid that. So the best thing the defense can do is cash its 3 tricks right off the bat. So let's say it goes 3 of spades lead. Now, as South, I'm looking at that dummy. It's got kind of that scary heart suit, but the ace of hearts is the only entry out there. Anyway, my partner's led the 3, and if we're playing 4th best leads, there are 3 in the dummy, 4 in my hand. That means Declare has 2 of them. Okay. Or if maybe my partner led a 3-card suit, that would give Declare 3 of 3 spades. But one thing Declare definitely doesn't have is a singleton spade, because that would give my partner 5, and that would be inconsistent with her having led the 3. These are the things you should be thinking about at trick 1. How many cards in the suit? And that's why we play conventions like 4th best, so that we can count the suit. So when we play 3rd hand high here, and remember the ace denies the king 3rd chair, because we play 3rd hand high but lowest of equals, we should really know that we're cashing another spade here. And it really should probably be pretty obvious to partner to shift to clubs, but let's say we wanted to play clubs first. The best thing we can probably do is trust partner to know that this is a specialized situation called a cash out, where we need to know how many of our clubs are cashing. And the way we can kind of cue him into this is by actually leading the queen here. And when Declare doesn't win the ace of the king, it's going to be known that we've got those cards. And we chose to lead the queen. Partner's going to realize the most important message. I realize that, like, textbook in a vacuum, blah, 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 our cards are attitude to partner's lead. That can't be what partner needs here, because logically partner has the ace, king, queen. The only thing he could want to know is count. Therefore, we would play the 8 if we're playing standard count, high from even, or the 2 if we're playing upside down count, which is low from an even number. Anyway, this illustrates a couple of things. First of all, you can lead the queen here and show all 3 cards. Again, even though that's not the textbook thing, like, I thought you led the ace from ace, king. Yes, yes, yes. But here we have a dummy of jack 3rd, and the only conclusion that can be drawn from us leading the queen here and it holding, which we know it's going to do, is that we've led it from ace, king, queen. We need a count card from partner. So if you're playing standard, the 8, that combined with the fact that partner led 4th best should tend to make us move back to spades, and we beat it 1. Let's rewind to this trick and show you what happens if you try to cash another club. Something really cool is going to happen. Let's say that you tried to cash another club. The player could rough this and could gain style points by roughing with the ace. Count your tricks as east-west. You just roughed for your first. You have 8 diamonds for 9. You have the ace of hearts for 10. And the opponents already have 2. 10 plus 2 is the magic number. We have 12 tricks accounted for. We have a threat in the queen of spades. It's a threat against the guard of the king of spades. We also have a threat in the 9 of hearts, which is a threat against anybody who is solely guarding the heart suit. Here, North is solely guarding the heart suit because he's the only one who has as many as 2 of them. What we need to do is rattle off all our trumps and just watch for the king of spades. And I'm going to stop the video in just a second and show you where you're going to go wrong. And there was one patron among us who, you know who you are, who didn't get Linus's security blanket on the table at trick 12. And this is a great illustration of what happens. We can pitch this jack of clubs. It's doing us no good. North can go ahead and pitch 2 spades. We can pitch the spades off the dummy. They do us no good. The queen of spades is the threat in that suit. And we just keep on running trump. Okay, you can pitch clubs. Those don't do any good. Both defenders know that the Declarer's already shown out a club, so those pitches must be safe. Now, let's stop the tape. This is the moment of truth. This is where you have accounted for 12 of the 13 tricks, and you realize, I've got to get that last winner on the table. Look what it does to North. It squeezes him. He's got no legitimate play here. The king of spades will turn the queen into the trick. The 10 of hearts will turn the 8 into a trick. It legitimately legitimately squeezed, made mincemeat of. There's nothing he can do. This is a legitimate card play technique. Like, I think sometimes you'll hear novices or intermediates talking about squeezing as something that's not exactly legitimate. It's just like confusing the declares. No, squeeze means there's nothing they can do about it. And this is one of those cases. So we get our security blanket, our last trump on the board, and North is toast. Watch what happens if we don't get this last trump on the table. If we lead the queen of spades, it's obvious what happens. He just takes the king. Lead the queen of hearts. Right? We've still got a loser. Got to get that last trump on the table, and the squeeze will be executed. Okay. Moving on to 21. Six, 9, 10. 5-4 shape with 10. Little too rich for my blood to open that. I'm definitely opening the south hand. It's a balanced 5-3-3-2 with a 13 count. Should be zero thought about opening a diamond with that. Goes pass. North's going to bid the 5-card spade suit. When we have a 5-card major and a 4-card major, we're definitely bidding the 5-card suit first, regardless of whether it's hearts or spades. This is not an up the line situation. Pass. This is one of those times when I would raise with 3-card support because I have this worthless doubleton. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in preference to rebidding one no trump, which would be my other choice. But the fact that I have this small doubleton and 3-card support makes me want to treat this as a simple raise of partner's major. And I would do that regardless of whether he responded 1 heart or 1 spade. So I'd bid 2 spades. If you want to rebid 1 no trump showing a balanced 11-14, not necessarily anything wrong with that. I just think raising on 3 here works out better. Should West bid here? Thing is, like, you've got so much of your hand in the suits that they're bidding. I believe I was faced with this exact auction, wasn't I? Yeah, and I didn't bid, so it would be silly for me to suggest that you do here. And I think it's just going to go pass. North doesn't have to like invite game here. You've got kind of like a flat, boring hand. I realize it's 10 points, but your partner said she's got a minimum hand with spade support. I don't think there's any reason to keep on going here. And if we check the double dummy, the par score actually is East-West getting to 3 clubs. So wrong on us that we didn't balance there. And North-South can make 8 tricks in spades. So let the opponents play at the 2 level on their known fit at your own peril. We ended up getting a good score for this, 71%, but that was more a function of North-South took 7 tricks instead of 8. And the last hand. Definitely have a 1 heart opener as East, pass. I made a limit raise with this hand. So if you're playing old fashioned, that's just the double raise to 3 of a major. It's a limit raise. You might be going, oh, it's only 7 points. I have 4 trump and I have 8 losers, which is the correct level for a limit raise. That's 1 below an opening hand. One loser more than an opening hand equals an invite. Let's do a refresh on how to count losers. We can have a maximum of 3 in each suit. And then we're going to take away 1 for each ace, king, or queen. So I've got 3 diamond losers. As West, I have 3 diamond losers, 1 spade, 2 hearts, and 2 clubs. That's a total of 8. Then you can do the ace queen adjustment, which I definitely do. You give yourself half a trick fewer losers for an ace and half a trick more for queens. That should make sense. Aces are better cards than queens. And here I have 1 of each, so it cancels out. I've got 8 losers, and I felt justified in bidding 3 hearts here. North is going to bid 3 spades. My partner went ahead and bid 4 hearts. That looks fine. South competed to 4 spades. One of the recent videos, we talked about forcing passes. So are we in a forcing pass here? My vote is no, because like one of the things I said in the video was voluntarily bid games. It's not clear necessarily here that East is bidding 4 hearts to make. So I did not think we were in a forcing pass here. And I didn't think I was under any pressure to suggest offense or defense. Even if I thought we were in a forcing pass, I think I would pass here, because I'm okay with bidding 5 hearts and I'm okay with doubling 4 spades, even if I thought that my pass was forcing. What would it take for me to double? Like, partner already knows I've got 4 hearts because I made the limit raise. What would it take for me to double? I would want flatter shape, like certainly 4-3-3, or if I had a doubleton spade and 4-4-3-2, those would be the hands that I would want to double with to suggest defense. Again, notice the concept of balanced hands tend to vote defense. Shapely hands tend to vote offense. Remember earlier we had those 6-5 hands where we were never going to sell out, play defense. We were always going to play offense. So I passed. Partner did go ahead and double 4 spades, and we got 300 for a top board, as it turns out. Anyway, that is a super deep dive on the 22 hands from the RBC. If you made it this far, you have less of a life than I do, but there's a lot of value to be had from reviewing these hands with someone who halfway knows what he's talking about. That would be me in this case. I think I halfway know what I'm talking about. Anyway, if you have friends in another state or another bridge club who don't know about the patron site, tell them. I think you get, I'll put a plug in for myself here. These videos, if you're really working on your game, these are a steal at $5 for several drops a week. There's, if you're willing to put in the time and dig through these things, there's so much good stuff. It gives you the insight as to, how somebody who might be a stronger player than I am is thinking about things. We're tackling things as they come at us instead of like in a rigid, not that there's anything against a rigid textbook format, but that's not the way bridge problems come at us. They come at us in this chaotic way. Anyway, tell them about the site and get them to sign up, because I need 100 people to do that, or Audrey kicks me out of the house. Enjoy your James Taylor thumbnail. That's him and Carly Simon. I'm 99.9% sure that's her name. Former wife of his, former apartment mate of John Lennon. Anyway, happy Wednesday morning. Thanks for helping me with my insomnia. Hope you enjoyed this review of the hands from Tuesday night, February 15th, 2022. Have a great time at the sectional, those of you who are playing that, and come play with us at the RBC next Thursday night. That would be the 24th of February. Rumor has it that there's a party and free entry fee. So come back, join us live. Ready to see a bunch of you guys in person. Ready to hopefully help build that community again, which has obviously been dealt a pretty severe blow here. None of us are getting any younger. All of us are getting more comfortable with computer bridge, and I definitely don't want to see that live night game going anywhere anytime soon. So your support would be greatly appreciated. And, we need to get out and have community and see some people, I think, for our sanity. Anyway, speech over. Have a great Wednesday. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.